Hello and welcome to another quick tip video. A quick tip video is all about genuine photography tips, tricks and camera hacks that I use as a photographer. And no gimmicks, just genuine advice that I've picked up over the years. Now most of these will be free or very inexpensive, but we'll be sure to help you with your photography. So before we get into this tip, if you haven't done already, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up if you like the tip and you want to see more. So today's tip is all about backing up your data. Now I know it's a bit of a minefield of a subject and also a bit boring, but we're going to do it in a quick way, but also hopefully cover all the hurdles that people often face. Okay, so backing up your data is really important. Now what hit home for me is when someone said to me, whether it's an external hard drive like this or whether it's on your computer, if you keep using that hard drive, it's only a matter of time before it gives up and it will break. So whether that's 10 years time, 5 years time, 2 years time or 2 weeks time, one day that will break. So you need to be prepared, but when it does break, you're not going to lose all the data from it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my workflow. Now I'm sure my workflow is probably not the best workflow out there, but it's a good workflow. It works for me, and since I've been using it, I've never lost anything or had any problems with my images. So yeah, so I'm going to go through from the start of when I've got an SD card from my photography all the way to backing up on a regular basis and how it works for me. So to start with, let me just explain for myself. I use more than one computer. So when I've got a laptop like this, when I'm mobile like I am now, or when I'm back at home, I've got a desktop. So for that reason, I use an external hard drive because then I can keep all my pictures on there, and literally all my images are on this external hard drive. And I can then plug that into either my desktop or my laptop and still work. So that's how I like to work, but obviously it may be slightly different for yourself. I also treat my pictures a little bit different depending on what they are. So for example, if it's a paid job, like a professional job, then I'm going to treat that slightly different than if I went out wildlife shooting, when I might actually be culling a lot of my images and then choosing the best ones from a wildlife shot, because there's only going to be a very small percentage of those images which I may want to keep and store. Whereas on the paid jobs, I'm going to be copying every single image and backing that up straight away. So let's start right at the beginning. So you've got your SD card. You've come back from a day's shoot, and first step is I've used a card reader. Now I've got a SD card slot here, but this is a USB-3 card reader. It's much quicker to use one of these plugged in directly to a USB-3 port than it is to actually use my SD card slot here. So that's the first tip. If you haven't got one of these, if you want to speed up how long it takes to get those images from your SD card onto either your computer or the external hard drive, then buy a USB-3 card reader. Now, I always take my SD card out of my camera as well. I never plug it in. As soon as you take that SD card out of your camera, that means that no one's going to be able to pick up the camera and format that SD card by accident. So another safe way to do it is get that SD card out of your camera as soon as you can, so there's no danger of that ever happening. So you've got your SD card reader. Now if I've done a paid job, I would also use a USB stick here. Now that USB stick, I'm going to now copy from this card onto here and also onto my external hard drive at the same time. So I'll plug this in here, and now the software I use, now I don't use Lightroom as a catalogue. I use lots of different editing software, so it didn't make sense to me to just put all my images onto Lightroom. I use Photostore image viewer, literally just to view my images and to import and export them to my folders. So on this SD card, just as a test, I've just done one image. So this is my one image here, but this could be 100 images, could be 1,000 images. So my one image is here, and I'm going to, now I've got two options. I can either move to a folder, so I can move all those images from there, or copy. Now my next tip is never ever move. So by moving those images, you're actually taking them off the SD card and taking them somewhere else, which means if anything goes wrong part way through that process, potentially you may lose some data. You may lose all of it, you may lose some images. So I always copy. So I'm going to copy from here onto, now if it was a professional job, I'm going to copy onto my USB stick as well as my external hard drive. If it's just images for me, I'm literally just going to make a copy onto my external hard drive. I'm going to make one copy for now. So I go to my copy folder. Now I can either go to pick one folder, or I can pick up to 9 different places I can save to. So in this situation, I'm now going to pick the one folder, and so you select your folder, which is going to be the external hard drive, and now I press copy, and now all those images are going to be copied over. So that's now saved on there, and now I've got this copy still remain on here. Now I can unplug this, and the next thing I do is I have an SD card box here, which I keep my SD cards in, nice and safe, and I do not put that back into my camera until I've at least made another copy from here. So that's my second copy, and I'm going to keep that somewhere safe, and I've got one copy on here. So I've now got one copy on that hard drive. I've removed it from the SD card from the computer, so there's no danger for me to accidentally format that. That's now somewhere safe. And as I said, if it was a paid job, I've also got a copy here which I'm going to keep in a safe somewhere secure. Right, so let's go on to the next step. Okay, right, so at this stage what I'll be doing is working on those images, processing them, and maybe hopefully completing the assignment. Now weekly, what I'll then do is I'll back that up. Now the only time I'll do that quicker is if I, for whatever reason, need the SD card from which I used before, which is unlikely. I've got quite a few SD cards, but so weekly I will then be backing this up, this external hard drive, to the larger external hard drive here. So the software I use, Aomi, it was completely free, but what drew me to this one is it allows me to set up what's called a file sync, which means that I've set up the drives to sync with each other, and how I've set these two files, the two external hard drives up, is they match each other exactly. So they've both got, if I look at this one here, I've got my documents, my music, my pictures, my videos, and for some reason a Windows 10 upgrade. And then on this this one is exactly the same. I've got my documents, my music, my pictures, my videos, and this Windows 10 upgrade again, because they're exactly the same and mirrored. So what I'll do with the software is I will press literally the file sync setup. So once these are both plugged in to either this computer or the computer or my desktop, I press my sync now button, and because it's only copying that one image from here onto here, then it's going to take no time at all. And whereas other programs used to copy everything again, which means you have duplicate after duplicate, and this will get filled up very quickly, or it wipes what was on here and copies all of it again, which again is not good for me. So that's done, that's all finished, so that's all backed up. So I'll do that weekly. Now obviously that would change. This time it took seconds, whereas if there's, you know, if I've had a busy week, then it may take, you know, 20 minutes, half hour. It may even take longer. So sometimes it could be an overnight job. But try to do it weekly, which means then I've got one copy here of all my images, and then that SD card can now be used again into my camera, because I don't need a third copy unless it's a professional job. And if it was a professional job, right at the beginning, I would have backed up all those 4 images on that USB stick. So that's now somewhere safe as well, only if it's a paid job for myself. That's how it works. So as I said, that's how I do it. It seems to have worked for me. Hopefully you'll find your own way, but if you can get anything from that at all, then that's great. Hope you found it useful. Please give me a thumbs up and press that subscribe button. Bye for now.